Hi everyone, and welcome to the Virgo July 2021 Spiritual Connection reading. Welcome everyone. So this is I Am Illuminated Tarot and meaning-based spiritual coaching services. I am Lauren. So all of my readings, including this one and any content on this channel and my website, are here to engage you with the Triad of Engagement, which is a coaching tool I've developed which focuses on the three basic principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation. And this is to demonstrate how when using these three principles and applying them together, they can help keep you fully engaged and feeling in flow with the unique energetic imprint of your life. Additionally, all content here is to help you answer your very own I am question so that you can re-engage with life in a more authentic, meaningful, and emotionally fulfilling way. If you'd like to learn more about the Triad of Engagement, I have two video links in the description box below, which you can watch. One is for more visual learners and one is for conceptual learners. So this reading is one of three readings I will be doing each month. We have a spiritual connection reading, which is taking a look at how you are connecting your unique internal individual self with your external environment. Basically, what is your connection to spirit in your external environment? What are they asking you to step into, basically, to be able to take a look at where your place and purpose and meaning lies by pulling out the parts of yourself that are unique to you and actually applying them in your external environment. There also are going to be videos, one video for self-connection, which is bringing awareness back to self and looking at aspects hidden within yourself and what to kind of focus on for the month to start to unlock and work with those unique internal gifts of yours. And then the third video is the partnership connection, which is looking at how you choose to integrate and connect your unique self with others and their unique self. All right, so Virgo, let's get right into your spiritual connection reading here. I'm going to start by pulling some cards to take a look at what energy you are sitting with right now. So Virgos, what energy? Ooh. Okay, so we have the Six of Cups. Now the Six of Cups is a card of nostalgia. It's a card of going back in time on an emotional level and connecting with something that brings you that sense of, I would say, warm fondness. It's also, for me, a card that represents going back to be given a gift from your past self, which you can bring forward into your present day self. So there's this element, Virgos, that you're kind of sitting with right now, the energy of looking back at what was and finding some element of maybe solace from looking back at better times, or you're kind of doing some investigative work, some self-investigation as to when you did feel good in your past, and perhaps looking at areas of self that you can emotionally connect to on a positive level that you are now looking to bring forward into your present. So I'm going to now pull a card or cards, depending on what comes out, for your external energy. So for spirit, basically we're looking at what spirit is asking you to, basically why spirit is asking you to take the energy you're with right now and engage this with your external environment. What you are going to unlock about yourself and how actually you are going to be able to utilize this energy to better fulfill some role needed in your external environment. All right, let's see, Virgo, what are you sitting with right now for the month of July in your external environment? Let's see. And I apologize, this is a reduced deck, so sometimes it's hard for me to shuffle. Okay, so you have the World. Now the World is a card, it's a major arcana card, and it is one that denotes the ending, the triumphant completion of a cycle. It is where you have learned all the lessons you have needed to learn in what you've gone through up until this very moment. And the card itself has depictions of all 4 of the fixed zodiac signs. So we have the sign for Aquarius, for Scorpio, for Leo, and for Taurus. And this denotes an element of tapping into fixed energy, of saying, okay, it's kind of grounded energy. It's saying you've come this far, in going through a journey up into this point, you have learned lessons which now can be grounded and applied in your physical world. So you have all of these unique talents at your disposal. And seeing this in your external environment, what I'm feeling here is that there is a wrap-up of a cycle, and you are kind of in this place of wanting to be tied to the past and not fully ready yet to step into the next cycle. And what your external environment, what Spirit is calling you to do, is to say, go back, sit with yourself. It's okay. Emotionally reconnect. Possibly tap into some gift or something that you can emotionally connect to from the past in a positive way. Pull that forward to now really utilize the lessons that you've learned up until this point to have the courage to move forward, to start the next cycle, but not to forget all of these lessons, and not to look back almost with like a sad nostalgia towards the past, looking back towards the past to say, look how far I've come. All right, now I'm going to pull some cards here to see what is sitting in your void. So I call this the void. If you'd like to learn more about the void, you can click on the visual link for the Triad of Engagement in the description box. But a brief summation of the void is basically areas of fear and anxiety and disconnection between our unique selves and our external environment. And the void is created by us as we move from being a child into being an adult. And it's where we attempt to bring out unique parts of ourselves, and we engage them with our external environment, and where we have perceived negative reactions. So an example of this be bringing out an ability of yours and it is critiqued, made fun of. Oh, that's a lot, but I'm being told to take it. So we're going to go ahead and take all these cards. I'm going to see if one more wants to come out for you guys. And what happens in it, or additionally, maybe you brought out a talent of yours at one point and you failed. But instead of trying again and learning from that lesson, you developed a protective barrier. You put up a layer of masking between your external environment and that part of yourself that you brought out that didn't receive a positive result. And you end up hiding parts of yourself behind this protective barrier. And this protective barrier grows and grows and grows each time we hide a part of ourselves. Each time we bring out a part of our unique self that we don't want to be seen again because we don't want to have it be critiqued or hurt. And this void can grow so large that we end up being completely emotionally disconnected from our external environment. We end up having so much fear and so much anxiety around displaying or acting from a place of authenticity that the actions we choose to take in our external environment no longer hold value for us. We're literally just going through the motions and we have no emotional connection to them. And this is where we can also experience frustration in our lives, where we don't understand why our external environment isn't reflecting what we want to manifest. It's where we also get frustrated with our interactions with others, where we don't understand why people don't seem to see us as the person we know we are. And basically the reason why this happens, we'll go with that last one. All right. The reason why this happens is because our external environment can't connect with us. So the spiritual realm, we've blocked it from being able to connect here as well. So the void works both ways. You've basically created this large moat between yourself and your external environment. And again, what happens there is not only do you not have emotional connection, but you also lose the ability to really feel where and see where your place and purpose is, because again, you're not bringing out your unique gifts or needs or wants and dreams and desires. And basically both sides at that point end up losing out. You don't get a chance to see where you fit as a unique individual, and your external environment, what spirit, what destiny is calling you to step into, never gets to utilize those gifts. And so you really never get to be of service to the greater collective human experience. All right, so I'm going to jump right in here just to tell you what I'm seeing as far as what is in your void. So these are points again of fear and kind of the challenge that you're meant to overcome to be able to engage now with this new energy in your external environment. So the first card, so just to let you know about the cards that are out here, we have the Seven of Cups, the Nine of Swords, we have the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Wands, and the Two of Cups. So right off the bat, Seven of Cups. This is your fear point. Seven of Cups can be a card of options. It's a card of seeing a bunch of opportunities that have the potential to be emotionally fulfilling, because that's what cups represent in the tarot. They represent our direct tie on an emotional level to our experience. And with the Seven of Cups, when it's in a challenge position like this, where this can become an issue is that this becomes an illusion. It becomes an illusion and a distraction, where instead of looking at ourselves and realizing that we always have a cup that is within all of us, we have a cup that is always filled and full from our connection to spirit, from our connection to the unconditional love from the divine, and a cup that only we know how it can be filled, with what it can be filled. We get into a place where we can get into the grass is greener on every level. Wherever we look, there's another option that might be better than the cup that we're holding within us. And that's an illusion. That's where we get stuck in a place of either indecisiveness because we see so many options and we're almost watering down our own cup at that point. We almost see a little version of well, I could fulfill a little bit of emotional needs if I choose that option, or I could fulfill a little bit over here, or this might be cool if I try this out. And this gets wrapped into the fear then as well of, well, what if I try that cup, I go for that option, and it's not emotionally fulfilling. It's not ultimately what's going to make me feel like I have meaning and purpose. Or what if I go for that cup and it's not the same? Or what if I go for that cup and I lose out on all these other cups? And in reality, that again is an illusion. We should, and I think that this is kind of where you're tying into this element of going back in time to connect with a more pure version of yourself. When we think about going back in time to get a gift from our past self, which we can bring forward on an emotional level, this is, I think, what's kind of helping you clarify this fear point. This fear point of, if I choose this option, I might be missing out on other options. And what you're being asked to face and to get beyond is to to go back in time to see what was in your cup back then. What were you contented by? What do you look fondly back on? And bring that forward, knowing that that is what is in your cup. And no matter what you choose, as long as you bring what's in your cup to that, it's the right choice for you. And this is, kind of a hard lesson to learn when we're looking externally, especially, and comparing ourselves and comparing our choices to others. But on an emotional level, really where we start to understand and unlock our own unique power and our ability to engage in a truly authentic way with our lives is when we realize emotional fulfillment cannot come from the external. And each one of us, our tie to what we find meaning in and what we find purpose in is completely unique. So we may look at somebody else who seems to have the life that we want, and it seems like it would be emotionally fulfilling, but ultimately that may be emotionally fulfilling for that person, and if we were to achieve the same things, it would mean nothing to us. And so this is where we always have to realize that emotional fulfillment starts from within, starts from understanding ourselves, our unique self, our original self, our self that is tied directly to spirit. So this leads right into the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords is a card of worry. It's a card of the thoughts that keep us up at night. And this is in the realm of thoughts. So this is where we're going from emotions to the head. And this can be a dangerous place to be in, because this is where we get into those negative thought patterns of going down the negative what if train. What if I pursue something and this bad outcome happens? And what if, and what if, and what if, and what if? But it's never a what if in a positive way. It's never, what if I pursue this and it unlocks this whole new world for me? What if I pursue this and I get to bring this aspect of myself, my past self, into it? And what if it unlocks something incredible? And so there's this kind of head and heart conflict going on right now. I really feel a confusion that you've been sitting with probably for a while of, what do I choose? What's going to be emotionally fulfilling for me? And perhaps what was emotionally fulfilling, what you have been tied to, might not be what it is now. And this is a kind of hard lesson to learn when we are sitting with this feeling of nostalgia, of going back and saying, man, I wish it was so much simpler back then. I didn't have all of these choices. I just wanted this for myself. And sometimes clarifying that for us, even if we bring it forward and realize that's no longer what emotionally fulfills us, that's fine. Your external world your external world is saying, it's what's been going on now up until this point is done. The journey you've been on is done. You were meant to come this far to learn these lessons, and now you have this cachet of lessons and real life experience that you can apply in a very tangible way. But it's also this element of now traveling beyond this point. Can be a card actually of travel. But I look at it in this sense when we're talking about spirit in your external environment. It's a card of transcendence. You're traveling beyond where you have been up until this point. And so what you're being asked to do here is to get past the illusion, because the Nine of Swords is also an illusion. It's an illusion on a mental note that everything is going to end up with a bad outcome. So this is an illusion of, is it worth it for me to pursue something on an emotional level? Because I don't know I'm looking desperately for something external to myself to fill my cup. And this is a card of illusion on a mental level of, if I make a choice, it's going to result in a negative outcome. And in reality, the crux of your whole reading here is the Ace of Swords. It's clarity. It's clarity of thought. It's clarity of personal truth. This is your Excalibur sword. We each have our own Excalibur sword, which only we can technically pull out of the stone. And I think what's happening here is you're gaining clarity around, okay, I may have been looking maybe back at the past with rose-colored glasses. Oh, excuse me. And maybe there is this part of myself that I loved, part of my upbringing, or a part of me that I emotionally connected to. And I've possibly been trying to bring that forward, but it hasn't fulfilled me. Because this is telling me right here, you're not fulfilled. You're looking for something to fulfill you, and you're worried that you're not going to find it. And the Ace of Swords is saying, you have your truth. You have your clarity. You know now by going back to the past what perhaps has changed for you in the present. Because as we move past the Ace of Swords and this kind of clarity of self-truth, we then move into the Ace of Wands and the Two of Cups. And the Ace of Wands is this beautiful card. Obviously aces in the tarot are gifts from the divine. This is our direct connection to spirit. So this really is perfect in this reading for you, Virgo. That coming into Ace of Wands over here, the Ace of Wands is the gift of passion, of inspiration. This is that element of creation as well. This can indicate pregnancy. This can indicate a new project idea. This can indicate just that spark again of feeling connected to what lights your fire inside. And then this is coupled with the Two of Cups, which is a beautiful card. It's a card of understanding what's in your cup, to be able then to have healthy relationships with other people who can bring their cup and match yours equally. So this is really a partnership card, but a true partnership card, not a romantic love interest card, even though that's kind of what's shown here. It's more about two people coming together on an equal emotional footing. And I think that that's the clarity you're moving into here, is that you're realizing that you're making this realization that what fills your cup and makes you feel good about yourself is never going to come from the external. It's going to come from the internal. It's going to come from connecting to your own unique passion. It's going to come with connecting with others who meet you at the same level. This is not a codependent relationship. This is not you looking to have someone else come to fill your cup or vice versa. These are two equal partners with two equal cups. And if you notice, there are no other cups around the Two of Cups. They are making that choice in that moment to be together, to have this partnership, this union on an emotionally matched level. And I mean, this is beautiful. This is showing me that this is the lesson that's being learned right now. But I think, you guys, the fear point here is just, if I move towards, and what I'm really feeling here is that perhaps there is a new love interest. There is a new spark. And some of you may be worried about making the choice to step into this partnership because of of things that haven't worked out in the past, of going back and seeing something and maybe remembering even a nostalgic time, but then remembering what happened after that. Like this could be looking back at a past relationship that seemed great and then it wasn't. And you're bringing that fear through possibly to your new connection here. And what Spirit is trying to say is, no, this is all gone. you can look back at the past and you can gain wisdom from it. In fact, here it is, all of this wisdom, this tangible wisdom for you to use. But you're going to have to release this. See the truth and clarity for what this was, an illusion. You never had all of these options. It was never this person who was going to make you feel better than this person, or this work opportunity that was going to make you feel better than this opportunity. Ultimately, it was what you were bringing to that situation. Whether this is a romantic partnership, I think that's what you're realizing now, is that if you make the choice to understand that emotional fulfillment comes from you, and you know now what is in your cup, you can with full confidence go into a partnership without wondering if somebody else out there might be better. Or if this is in work, you can choose any work option as long as you know that what you bring to the table. So it doesn't matter if you work a regular 9-to-5 or own your own business, or you choose to stay in your law profession field, or go to becoming a spiritual counselor. It doesn't matter, because ultimately, if you know what fills your cup, you're going to every day go to that job and be able to bring yourself into it, to understand where you fit in and how you can be of service in that job. And ultimately, it's your connection, it's your authentic connection with others, and expecting. And this is where this is truly your challenge point of learning the lesson you're being asked to learn, is expecting others to match your cup, to respect you, to see you for the beautiful being that you are, and to be able to respect that by coming at an equal level with you. This is, Virgo, you are the healers of the zodiac, but oftentimes what can happen with that and being in that position is that you can be used by others. You can put yourself aside to be almost in a martyr type situation with others in your life. And real healing comes from the strength of the individual to remain true to themselves, so that you can be honest with another, so that you can show through example what it's like to live from a place of your own truth and understanding your own passion, and not letting someone else compromise that. That's how people heal, through looking at your own example of being showing yourself as a fully healed person. You can't heal another if you're wounded yourself, or still have an open gaping wound. Let's say you're a doctor and you're at the emergency room. Can you imagine if you were the patient who shows up and you, let's say, have a horrible cut on your arm and you're bleeding, and the doctor who's coming to help you has a gaping head wound and has blood running down his face, and he's like, yeah, let me look at your arm. And you as a person are going to say, well, stop, I think you have a bigger issue you have to fix. And the doctor's like, no, let me just look at your arm. And you're like, no, really, you need to sit down, as the doctor is trying to get you to sit down, and he's kind of swooning and looks like he's about to pass out. And that's what can happen when you try to martyr yourself too much, when you haven't gone through and healed parts of yourself, when you haven't realized fully what is your potential and the beauty of self. The cup that you have, so when we think of the Ace of Cups is that gift from the divine of unconditional love for yourself, for you as a unique individual, for you as the perfect person as you are, with all flaws. And your flaws are perfections in the eyes of the divine, of the spirit. So it's coming back to that knowledge of realizing that's what you need to heal. That's what you need to come back to, a place of wholeness, a place of respect for yourself. And you need to bring that out in all interactions with others. And to expect that that will be respected and met with the same level. So that's for those of you who maybe have been feeling frustrated in that you don't seem to be feeling like you are of service to others, or you feel like you're constantly in this place of victimization, or you're constantly trying to help others, but it doesn't seem like they want your help or that it's being of use. It's because you haven't healed yourself. And so you're showing up to others like the wounded doctor with a head wound. And what you need to be doing is showing yourself as a healthy, confident individual so that you can then help others see the beauty of that and want to match that. Okay, so now I'm going to pull some cards down here for the Triad of Engagement. So we'll pull a card for curiosity, courage, and contemplation. And we'll see how this can help guide us to navigate across the void, to bring your unique self into relationship, into engagement with your external environment without bringing the fear and the anxiety with you. So the first card we're going to choose is for curiosity. And curiosity is where we build the bridge across between, we build the bridge from our unique internal self to our external environment. And the bridge of curiosity is helping us open back up to optimism, openness, receptivity to what Spirit has in store for us, for what life is asking from us, and what we are here to meet. So when you think about, I think it was JFK here in America who has the quote, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." It's kind of that take. It's realizing that Spirit has brought you here in your uniqueness to ask you to fulfill a role. And you should be always looking to answer that question. That okay, what do you need from me and how can I fulfill that role? So we have caring connections. Perfect for what we're looking at here. So when we're thinking about curiosity and opening back up and being receptive to our external environment, being receptive to destiny so that we can take our free will and apply it towards destiny. Where have you been, for thinking about being curious, where have you been closed to caring connections? And why? And how now can you open yourself back up to the vulnerability of feeling supported like this for yourself? I think, Virgo, oftentimes you guys want to feel like you are the supporting partner. And sometimes it needs to be the reverse, where you are the supporting, or where somebody else is supporting you. And again, in simply just being your healthy, beautiful Virgo self and allowing someone else to come and meet you at that level and appreciate that side to you, that's what opens you up to the possibilities of new love, of healthy relationships that will help work with your passions, help continue to ignite and release and support your authentic self in your external environment. So, beautiful message here of when you're building the bridge this month to really focus on being curious as to where perhaps you're holding yourself back from this type of connection, and being open to where this type of connection is going to be found for you by you bringing your cup out into, and very vulnerably, into the external environment. Okay, now we're going to pull a Power of Surrender card for your point of courage. And courage is where we get a chance to have the courage to make the decisions, to take action, to actually walk across the bridge to engage with our external environment. It's not enough to just build the bridge. We also have to then take action from our place of power, which is taking action from our authenticity to engage with the external environment, which is out of our control and which can be seen as destiny. So all kinds of wonderful things can be meant for us and asked of us by spirit and by the external environment. But if we choose of our own free will not to engage, not to take any of those opportunities that are being offered to us, well, then we will never step up and meet destiny. We will just simply stay back here behind the void and continue to be frustrated and continue to be emotionally unfulfilled. So courage is a very important principle in the Triad of Engagement, with really reconnecting you with your own seat of personal power. So we have two cards here. We have surrender your need to always be right. And it says, give others the gift of letting them be right. Be yielding, not rigid. This will help resolve conflicts and improve your relationships. And then we have surrender to effortlessness. Stop pushing so hard. The art of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river. Wonderful. So when we're thinking about where taking action, where we're finding courage to take action, as you choose to engage with your external environment, this is a great way, as we're thinking about bringing your full cup into union with others and their full cup, and expecting, again, you to be the respect given to you that you would give to others. This is where sometimes we, especially when we are kind of in this place here of the negative headspace and the so many options, and sometimes this can also be the feeling of something's being withheld from you. That there's so many options, but somehow all of these options, it's almost like you have so many you don't know what to choose from, but it's also like, well, because I can't take all of these in, one of them might be being withheld. And we tend to then externalize that as somebody else might be hiding something from me, that, or taking away from my cup, taking away. And when we think about surrendering need to always be right, this is where sometimes just letting go and looking at everybody as a potential caring connection. This can help release. I always look at this card as kind of trying to, when we take action, trying to force an outcome, force a result. And the one thing we have to keep in mind is that the only position of power and control we have is within ourselves. And that's our power to make decisions, to take action. And that can be in reaction to something or us just choosing to take new action. But we can't control anything in our external world. That is a truth. That is the realization. There is nothing that can be controlled. We cannot control another. We cannot control another's reaction or actions. And we cannot control what comes in as constant change and the unknown in our external environment. We just can't. Because if we did, we would be all psychic and we would know the end of, we would be able to see everything, and that would take the fun out of the journey that is life. And so I think at this point where you could be hindering yourself from stepping into a place of opening yourself up to beautiful new relationships that are going to be dynamic and work with your passions and really bring you into, and to be able to bring you into this new cycle, past the old version of self into the newly transcended version of self. You're going to have to let go of what you feel is the result that was meant to be intended by the actions taken. So you may walk across this bridge this month and feel like, okay, well, I'm walking across and this is exactly what's going to happen. And you're going to have to instead just stay open. And where this can actually get into our way is where we end up having a negative perception of our external environment because we're not getting the exact result we wanted. And so we'll keep kind of beating our head against the door or the wall, so to speak, of like, well, I have to be right. Like my version of the result is the right way. And so you miss out on other opportunities that would give you the same result, but don't fit quite right with what you had originally seen as the specific result. A good example of this is that story with the guy stuck in the boat in a flood, and he is praying to God, God, come and save me, rescue me. And as he's praying to God and he's praying for God to rescue him, another boat pulls up with people in it, and they say, "Hey, get in. We have room in our boat." And the guy says, "No, I'm waiting for God to rescue me." And then a helicopter shows up above him and is like, hey, we'll drop you a line. Just climb up into a helicopter and we'll rescue you. And he says, no, I'm waiting for God to help me. And then people are like, okay, well, fine, bye. And so on and so forth. And all these people come to help him. And finally, the guy drowns and he dies because he didn't get exactly the result he had intended. And when he gets to heaven, God's like, I don't understand. Why did you not take my help? And he said, well, I was waiting for you. And God was like, well, that was me. All those people that came in all those varying forms, that was me trying to help you. And so sometimes this is where we get in our own way. We lose that connection between ourselves and spirit because we're so trying to force this specific outcome that we don't realize that spirit is like, no, I'm giving this to you, but it looks like this instead. And then paired with surrender to effortlessness, and it says stop pushing so hard. The art of living means going with the flow instead of trying to force the river. And that's exactly right. So this is where it's a release, it's a surrender. I mean, this is the power of surrender deck, but specifically it's releasing this tie on trying to control who or and what emotionally fulfills you, coming back to your connection with spirit and knowing, okay, this is who I am. This is what emotionally fulfills me from the inside out. And now I'm going to be open to spirit. I'm going to be open to this next beautiful chapter of my life, which is going to be full of these really fulfilling, supportive partnerships. And I'm going to stop trying to force the outcome. I'm going to be open back up to spirit now. I'm going to realize that I just went through a cycle and things are new. And so as things are being new, I'm going to be asked to step through with a new version of truth and clarity. And I can't wait to see what that's going to bring to me. So it's about kind of, as you take action, don't take action from a place of I'm taking action only if this is the result. Instead, take action from a place of feels good. I'm taking action towards caring relationships. How that comes in, I will leave that up to spirit. And now we are going to pull a card for contemplation. And contemplation is the third and final principle of the Triad of Engagement. And it's a very important one because contemplation is where we get to integrate and we get to grow. And we get to transcend through being able to look at lessons and applying them to our experience. This is where we get to continue our process of self-education through direct experience. And when I talk about growth and transcendence, this is where we get a chance to basically walk across the bridge, take action in our external environment, and now with contemplation, we get to walk back across the bridge to ourselves to take a look at, okay, what were the consequences of me interacting with my external experience? And how can I use these reactions and lessons back here to unlock additional version or parts of myself and to continue to grow on a spiritual level as an individual. And the spiritual side to ourselves is a part that we often neglect. And I usually tie spiritual self with emotional self because that is how we most integrate or feel spirit and the spiritual side to our existence is through our emotions. I look at our perception of spirit oftentimes comes through as us perceiving beauty. And beauty is what touches us on an emotional level. We oftentimes can't perceive beauty without having some type of emotional feeling surrounding that experience. All right, let's see what comes out for contemplation for Virgo for the month of July. What to contemplate on? All right, leap. So this says, leap. You go first, the universe will catch you. And I think that that is so beautiful. There's an element of the surrender to effortlessness that ties right in where this woman's like almost floating, flying. But actually, me and my husband have been watching the HBO show, His Dark Materials, and it just makes me think of the witches in that show where they're kind of just able to go wherever they want and show. And it's like, wouldn't we all love to have that freedom, right? To be able just to kind of go and float off to meet our destiny. And I think that's what you're being asked to do right now is that, you know, Virgo, you might have gone through a really difficult past cycle up until now. And now what Spirit is saying is that's done. And you don't have to push so much. You don't have to do so much to grow. You don't have to, you've learned some amazing lessons and some great clarity about yourself. And now it's time to just be you, to go with the flow, to take the leaps towards things with the full knowledge that the cup is within you. Not getting caught up in the illusion of something else outside of yourself is going to fulfill you, or the negative headspace of, well, if I do choose to leap towards something, it's going to bring in a bad result. And to realize Spirit wants you to connect with others. In fact, actually, I think that this is what this whole lesson has been for you, and that's what's ending now, is it's time to wrap up your issues around being vulnerable in a position of love, being vulnerable in a position of partnership, and not stepping up as a fully healed version of yourself to be able to step into your true ability as a Virgo to help heal others. And that now it's time for you to step up as the highest, most powerful version of self, confident version of self, and expect that others will respect and see that in you and meet you as well, so that you're not going to be in partnership and meeting people from this point forward that are going to use you or drain you. Instead, they're going to support you. And in turn, this can lead to a beautiful re-examination and igniting of some spark of passion within you. Beautiful message, Virgo. You're coming out of, I think, a dark, hard time. And Spirit's telling you now it's time to let go, see the light, enjoy life, and step into feeling like this, feeling like you are the beautiful, magical being that you are. All right, I'm going to pull just a couple additional messages for your internal energy and your external energy. So right off the bat, the Queen of Wands comes out, which is a beautiful card that ties right into the Ace of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is a card of taking action. The Queen of Wands takes action from her place of passion. And she's almost like the magic queen. In the original depiction of her in the Rider-Waite Tarot, she has a black cat sitting at her feet. And there's this element of, almost this kind of witchy element to her, which is interesting that I picked up on that over here. And so she has this beautiful ability to almost be able to utilize her passions like it's a magic wand. And I think that that's really what you're connecting with here, is to realize your own power, your own potential, and emotionally connect to that. And realize the power is within you, Virgo, not within others externally. That power lies within you. You have a magic wand. You get to utilize it. Okay, and I want to see if there's anything that's going to come out for your external environment, since it doesn't seem like anything else for the internal. That is way too many cards. Let's see if we can narrow. Oh, Six of Cups again. So same card over here. A reminder of self, a reminder of bringing forward this version of self here to be integrated and released. Because now you're stepping up into the Queen of Wands. You're going back in time to give yourself the gift of this cup, to be reminded of what fills your cup, to be reminded of you as this unique individual. It's almost like here, like this is basically two children or an older child giving this gift to a younger child. But really what I see here is this is the gift of spirit coming back and giving you as this innocent child this reminder of who you are, what makes you special, and to give you the strength to say, now you are the magic queen. You have every ability to fly. You have every ability to go out into the world and create for yourself, create from a place of divine creation. And it's time now to release the smaller aspect of self and step into the power here as you're being asked to start this new cycle that's going to embrace light, your own internal power, your ability to heal others, and your ability to have amazing connective partnerships which are going to enrich and fulfill your life. All right, Virgo, this was a very powerful reading. I absolutely love it, and I hope it's been illuminating for you. If you'd like to book a personal tarot reading or a one-on-one spiritual coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below. I hope you also get a chance to check out your other connection readings for the month, and I look forward to seeing you next month.